Hi, I'm Keith Moores. This is Morrlands Fisheries. I'm sat obviously taking the opportunity of having my rods fishing, so if we get loud screaming buzz, these videos could be interjected and split. But anyway, basically the reason for this is to try and tie a couple of rigs that I use all the time on here and have been very successful, not only on here but in a lot of waters. And I just thought it might be worthwhile showing you the knots and how I tie them, just so that you're not wasting your time when you get down here, and you've also got a reference point on the website for when you're fishing back in England or anywhere else. So these are the bits and pieces that generally I use. As you can see, they're nearly all ESP bits, and we'll get on and tie a couple and see how they come out. Right, we'll start with the D rig, which is a rig that I use quite a lot, not just for pop-ups. I use it as bottom baits very successfully. And it's a very simple one to tie, but also I do have a little sort of edge when I tie it that for me helps by camouflaging the hook a bit more, but we'll show you that as we go along. So basically I've got a stiff rigger, and the easiest way I've found is to hold it by the point, if you like, with the point and the barb trapped between your finger and thumb, and then it is literally just a matter of dropping the line round the shank. It's not through the eye, it is literally just folded round the shank. Once you fold it around, it's simply a 3-turn blood knot around the shank of the hook, and once you've completed the 3 turns, go back up through the loop towards the eye of the hook. So you've actually got the knot tied with the tag end running back up the shank towards the eye. Pull it down tight. You don't need to moisten this one. It's structurally, it's got no part of the rig other than to hold the buoy in place, and that's basically what you end up with. That's the first stage of the D. You can then trim that tag end to just below the eye, so that it's not quite touching the eye of the hook, it's just short. You can see this fairly clearly. It's ghost is invisible in water. It's not that bloody easy to see when above water either. But right, now the edge comes with a bit of carp dacron fed through the eye of the hook and just held in place. Just a long tag end to give you some room to work with. You can then start whipping till you get down to where your ghost tag end is, and whip that to the shank of the hook. Keep going. Once you're about 4 or 5 turns from the blood knot of the fluoro, turn that end back so that you've then got a loop sticking out past the bend of the hook, and carry on whipping right down to the knot. And I always try and put a couple of turns the other side of the knot just to clamp everything in place. Now feed the end of the dacron through the loop that you left, trap that all firmly, pull the other tag end, and you've basically done a whipping knot on the shank of the hook. So you then have, if I hold the fluorocarbon, you then have the fluorocarbon still knotted and the hook shank whipped with dacron, which for me makes it look more like the normal piece of junk that the carp picks up off the lake bed, well, every minute of every day virtually. Trim off the ends of the dacron, obviously, not of the fluorocarbon at this stage, otherwise you start all over again. So we then have quite a neat whipped shank hook. The next step, and this will be virtually impossible to show you, but I'm sure you can work this out. A mini ring fed onto the end of the fluorocarbon, and just allowed to slide down by the hook. Now feed the fluorocarbon in through the eye from the back of the hook. Form the size of your D. For me, that's about how I like the D. Trap it all and simply knot the snot it. Back through from the back of the hook, so the line comes out the same side as the point, and we there have a whip shank D-ring. Well, you can see that. If I stab it in my finger, you can probably hold it still. And that's pretty much basically it. Figure of 8 knot in the other end, and one of the I tend to use one of these streamliner rig booms from ESP, slid on the end to cover the knot, which just projects it a little bit away from the lead and stops tangles. But that is one of my very common and very favourite hook links. Hope that helps.